So, ladies and gentlemen, the second race of the morning, the Alpine Hotel Cup. You've got a field of 8 lining up to face the starter for the Alpine Hotel Cup. They're on their way to the start, and you can see Toscano, Legal Legacy along there with Go Green. Then there's Vigorous and Transition, Stormont. And the two who are already on their way to the start are Night King and Honorius. So those are the two who are on their way to the starting gates. The race scheduled to kick off at 10 minutes past 11. This one also over a sprint of 1,000 meters. Runners and riders on their way to the starting gates. It's wonderful seeing racing start up again here in the Royal Turf Club at Nurelia. We wait to see if they're going to be able to get him to the gates. So the start being held up here by Night King. Meanwhile, the jockeys of Honorius and Night King both sitting patiently inside the gates without the horses. They're still to be stalled. Loading operations haven't commenced as they still wait for Night King. There you have the picture there. They're trying to put the bridle back onto Night King, who'd been playing up. He's a big fellow. And the other 7 runners all quietly parading behind the gates. The start being delayed here thanks to the antiques of Night King. The horses behind the gates are Vigorous in the black and white hoops. Then you've got Toscano in the red cap, followed there by Go Green in the white cap, Stormont, then Transition, and behind him Legal Legacy. The riderless horse there is Honorius, and they still wait for the riderless Night King, who seems to have the bridle put back on him, and they're leading him in. And that's it, the horses are now being stalled. Legal Legacy will be the first to walk in. But in the meanwhile, it's the stablemate Go Green with the white cap and the blindfolds on who goes in. Go Green has been stalled. Stormont has moved in as well. The blindfolds have been put on Transition. The riderless Transition not very keen to go into those stalls with the blinds on. But they've managed to coax him in. Transition has been stalled with the blindfolds on without the rider. The riderless and blindfolded Night King has been pushed in. They're all in for the second race of the afternoon, the Alpine Hotel Cup. And they're off and racing for the Alpine Hotel Cup. And as they settle down to race, Vigorous is the early leader there from Go Green into second position. Stormont is in third, up on the outside, Night King just behind Toscano. And then length and a half away, Honorius, and then a big gap to Transition, and even further behind, far away in the rear, is Legal Legacy. They're beginning to negotiate the turn now. Vigorous has established the lead by about 2 lengths from Go Green, continuing to be in second. Stormont is tucked in third. Another length away there is Toscano. Making a significant forward move is the grey Night King, but he's travelling very wide. 2 lengths away, then we go back to Honorius, further back to Transition, and out of it completely Legal Legacy. Round the turn into the straight, and Vigorous comes in home first by about 1.5 lengths there from Stormont, drifting off a straight course. Then there's Go Green on the outside, but as they straighten with 100 to run, and Vigorous still holds the edge by about 1.5 lengths from Stormont on the wide outside, and Honorius. So that was the end of the Alpine Hotel Cup. Vigorous leading virtually all the way, keeping to the fence, and then held on to win that from a close finish for second between Honorius and Stormont. We'll wait for the judges' placings on that. Number 1, Vigorous, did it in style, trained by Jayantha, ridden by Janaka, owned by Mr. D. Ajantha de Soyza, and they did it in great style. Jumping out in front from the word go, keeping to the fence, keeping a straight course. Stormont did come up at one stage to make a bit of a challenge, but then shifted out under pressure, and in the end it was very close between Stormont and Honorius as to who has finished second and third. We'll have to wait for the judges' placings on that, and meanwhile they return from the second race, the Alpine Hotel Cup, which is being won by number 1 Vigorous, owned by Ajantha de Souza, trained by Jayantha, and ridden by Jockey S. Janaka.
Get ready, people, for the presentation of the Alpine Hotel Cup. Now, this is sponsored by the Alpine Hotel. So we'd like to thank Alpine Hotel for sponsoring this second race, the Alpine Hotel Cup race, to Dampe Gamage, the chairman of Alpine Hotel, general manager of Alpine, Ms. Dambika Janaka. That's race number 2, sponsored by Alpine Hotel, and vigorous indeed. Getting a very comfortable win. Congratulations to Mr. D. Ajantha de Soyza and the trainer W. Jayantha and the winning jockey S. D. Janaka.